Today we're going to be talking about different types of return and how it affects you and your investments, specifically cash on cash return. Real estate is one of the only industries where we're going to talk about cash on cash versus just overall return on investment or return on equity. So cash on cash return, let's just define it real quick. It is just basically the cash in versus the cash out. So if I put in a certain amount of money, how much cash do I receive back throughout the course of a year compared to what my initial investment is? So real quick, it's the cash paid to you divided by the cash invested. So if I buy a property and I invest a certain amount of money, how much cash goes into my bank at the end of the year? Now, this is not to be confused with the total return. The total return compared to the cash invested, it is not the same as your return on investment. So let's do a really quick example. Let's say you invest $100,000 into a deal this year, and then that deal pays you $10,000. Your cash on cash return is 10%. 10,000 divided by 100,000 is 10%. So this is different than your return on investment because this right here, so this includes all of your operating expenses. It includes your mortgage payment. And remember, your mortgage payment is made up of your principal and interest payments, right? So there's two pieces to that. Principal, right here, that's like cash in a bank, right? Because when you sell the house, in theory, you get all those principal payments back. Now your interest, this is paid to the bank. You do not get that money back. So when you're calculating your total return, you would consider interest as an expense and the principal is part of your profits. So your return on investment includes the principal portion. But with cash on cash return, it does not include that. That's considered an expense for your cash on cash return. So they're slightly different, right? And the reason why you're going to use your cash on cash return is because we want to know what the cash flow is. Because there are circumstances. Now imagine if you paid $12,000 in principal payments, right? You could have a negative cash on cash return, but have a positive overall return. And the reason why in real estate we want to know if that's the situation is because you'll eventually run out of money. It doesn't matter how much money you're making on paper. If it's not putting cash into your bank account every year, then you're losing money. You may eventually lose that deal. This happens a lot. People might get foreclosed on. They may have huge equity balance in their equity position in their property. They might have a lot of equity, but if they can't make their monthly mortgage payments, they'll still lose the house or still lose the rental property. That's why we're really interested in cash on cash return. Now, don't get me wrong, the overall return on investment is very important. That includes your principal payments, right? That includes your tax benefits and includes some other things that is part of the overall return. And we're very interested in that, but we're extremely interested in the cash on cash return. Now, this is very unique to the real estate market. It's because the difference between your ROI and your cash on cash return can be so different if that principal payment portion is very large, especially. So that's why you're going to want to do the math on every property that you analyze. You want to look at the cash on cash return here for every single deal to see what you're turning. But it's not the entire picture. Just remember that. So don't forget it, but don't use it exclusively when you're running your numbers. My name is Eric Boland from idealrei.com. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can get more educational videos on real estate and real estate investing to help you become financially independent from real estate.